Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be reacting to a 25-year-old who's dating a 70-year-old.
This is 25-year-old Steph. She fell in love with 70-year-old Don.
Okay, here's the couple, Steph and Dawn. I'm not gonna lie, I am kind of into older people, like I do find them attractive. If I was to date somebody, which would be very rare because I don't really do relationships, I would probably go for a 70-year-old as well.
I loved him like the second I saw his face. Everybody should date someone 45 years older than them.
But should you though? I mean, as long as they're in a happy relationship, I guess it's fine. People think that I'm very judgmental, but I'm really not that judgmental. Yes, it might be a bit weird, like it's not that often when you see a 25-year-old dating a 70-year-old. But I mean, as long as she wasn't groomed, I guess I'm fine with it.
With a 45-year age gap, the couple have had to get used to being judged because of their relationship.
I mean, yeah, that does make a lot of sense. Like, if you've seen them out, you probably just assume that it's like a granddad with his daughter, with his granddaughter or grandchild. I mean, I don't know how to feel about it. Where did they meet? Like, I'm actually quite interested by this. If I was to date somebody, I'd probably date somebody 6 or 7 years older than me. Not like 50.
People always tell me he's gaslighting you or grooming you. You need to get help and get out.
I mean, but is he though? Maybe he did. If he knew her whenever she was a child, then yeah, that is grooming. But if they like just met somewhere, then I guess it isn't. Can we also talk about how good his hair is? For a 70-year-old, his hair is very good. Like, look at that. I want to know what he's put in his food, so it means that I've got my hair like that when I'm older.
Even Stephanie's family have struggled to get on board with someone so old being with their daughter.
I mean, I do understand that. I don't think my parents would be happy if I got into a relationship with an older person. I mean, it really does depend what type of person they are. Like, the majority of the time, people just look at it and be like, that's weird. But, I mean, as long as they get to know the person, they're fine with it, then I guess it's fine. Is she sat down with her mum, or is that, like, his wife? Are they even married? I don't know.
Now married and with a 2-year-old son, will the couple ever be free of judgment?
Wait, so they're married with a 2-year-old son? Is he the father? I mean, he's like 70, so like whenever the child's 20, he's probably gonna be dead. That is kind of sad. Like, I don't really know how to feel about that. I don't know why, but whenever I think of like a family, I think of like the parents being in the child's life, hopefully until they're like 30 or something like that, or 40. It really does depend, but I mean, whenever that child turned 30, he would have been 100, which he probably would have been dead by then. So I've got a feeling the child might grow up into their teenage years and they might not have a father.
And what about the additional consequences of dating someone so much older?
I guess we're gonna find out, so let's get in.
Somebody told me that I was rushing my life by getting married so young and having kids so young.
I mean, she is 25, so she got married and pregnant at the age of 23. Isn't that like kind of normal? Well, I mean, it used to be normal. Like, whenever you're 18, you used to get married all the time. People literally got married at the age of 16. Apparently, like back in the 1970s, when everything was a lot cheaper, like whenever you turned 18, you got kicked out of the house and you were like made to live your life on your own and sort things out on your own. I'm literally 18. If that happened to me, I'd actually cry.
And they said that I was missing out on the things that I should be doing in my 20s.
I mean, what do you do in your 20s? Like, everyone's life is slightly different. I mean, a lot of people could say that I'm wasting my teenage years. Like, I'm 18, I've never been to a bar. I don't really have anyone to go with. Like, I'm not really into that type of thing. Like, I just like to sit in my room and make YouTube videos.
And it's like, what should I be doing? Like, who's to even say what that is, right?
Exactly. Like, people are into different things. If she wants to get married and pregnant, then she can. Not everyone is into going out and doing things in their wild 20s. I feel like I'm like that. Like, I don't really think I'm gonna go out and be wild. I just don't want to be around people.
Partying doesn't appeal to me. I don't do drugs. I don't like to get blackout drunk. So what else would I be doing?
That is literally me. Like, I feel like I'm like her, except I'm probably not gonna get married to a 70-year-old.
We've been together coming up on 5 years, and we've been married for a year and a half.
Okay, so they've been married for a year and a half and dating for 5 years. So he was 65 and she was 20. I guess that's fine. Like, it's not really normal. I definitely couldn't see myself dating a 65-year-old whenever I'd be 20. You guys, I literally turned 19 in like 20 days. Is that not scary?
Just 5 years ago, Stephanie was working at a local pub when Don walked in and changed her life forever.
Okay, so we changed her life. I wonder in what way. I mean, he's probably older. Is he on his pension? I don't know how pensions work. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't.
I loved him like the second I saw his face. And it was super weird because then I was like, oh my god, this guy's like at least 30 years older than me. But I don't know, I just thought he was so handsome and he was charming and super flirty.
I mean, he's got good hair. Like, for a 7-year-old, he's got a lot of hair. Usually people start losing their hair in like their early 20s, which is literally my biggest fear. I'm telling you guys, if I start to lose my hair, I'm getting a hairline transplant.
I don't know, it just made me happy. Every time he came in, I was just so happy.
I mean, that's good. You should only date somebody if you want to date them if they make you happy. I just don't know how to feel about it. Like, she can say this, but this might not actually be the way they met each other.
Yeah, I think it was a Friday night. We played some pool and we danced and...
Yeah, he spent the night at my house.
But having 45 years separating the two in age, the news that they were dating came as quite a shock to many.
I mean, yeah, that does make a lot of sense. 45 years difference, that's a lot. I just couldn't imagine me saying to my friend, oh yeah, my mum is like 35, my dad's 80. Like, that would just be weird. It's not normal. I don't know how to feel about it. Like, it is one of them things where it's like, I guess it's fine if nothing bad happened, but you don't know if something bad happened. Maybe I'm just being judgmental and he's actually just a sweet old man.
My mom was not a fan at all. My dad was not a fan. My brother was absolutely not a fan as well.
I mean, that does make a lot of sense. I don't know how I'd feel if my child was dating somebody 45 years older. Also, is the brother a younger brother or an older brother? I just couldn't imagine if I had a little sister and she dated a really old person. I'd be thinking in my head right away, that's pedophilia. Is that the word? Like, I would have just assumed that they had been groomed. I mean, that is like the natural thing that most people would probably think.
So nobody was really on Dawn's team. I think for my side of the family, they were a little bit like, whoa, like... What are you doing?
I mean, yeah, that does make a lot of sense. It probably is red flags to them. I wouldn't know how to feel. Like, it is one of them situations where, like, I understand the person thinks they're doing the right thing, but are they actually?
The first time when Stephanie came forward and told me that she was dating a man who actually was the same age as her father.
Oh god, so the man's as old as her dad. Is the dad in the picture? They haven't mentioned anything about the dad. I've got a feeling the dad might possibly be deceased. I kind of want to know how the mum feels. Like, her daughter is literally dating somebody as old as her dad. Her husband, literally.
I was not happy at first. I felt that Stephanie was losing out on a chance to meet somebody that she could grow old with.
She did say at first, so maybe the mum actually does like the husband. I mean, they did get married and have a child in the end, so like, the husband's gonna be in the family picture forever, basically. You know, his DNA is still in the world, so like, I don't know if these other kids, maybe he does or maybe he doesn't. But I mean, either way, he did have a child with her.
The unfortunate thing is that I guess we felt... or I felt her time with Dawn would be limited.
Yeah, I was saying that earlier in the video. Like, think of it, he's 70. He is getting into the age where people start to die. Like, people usually do start to die after the age of 60, especially now, because like the world isn't that good. It's not that the world isn't good, it's just like people die younger now, I think, or is it the other way around? If he catches COVID, he could get seriously ill. And you know, she's been married for a year and a half, she's 23, so she can like live on with her life and get married again in the future. With him, he's basically like retired.
If Lachlan's having fun, we're having fun. And I don't even notice if there's other people around us. Like, I used to look for them and be like, oh, is someone staring? Who's staring?
Oh my god, I've just realized how much the son really does look like the dad. Like, they really do look the same. I nearly said grandfather, so I'm already getting myself confused. Can we also talk about the house they live in? I don't know if I showed this, but I'm gonna show you the house. You see this house right here? This is literally my dream house. You know how people are like, oh, I want a big fat mansion? I low-key do want a big mansion, but I also want a small house. To me, this house just looks so cozy, like I literally want it. But I mean, looking back at that child, it really does look like the father, doesn't it? It's kind of freaky how genetics work.
Sometimes I like to call them out on it, and I'm like, did you have a question? I've noticed you've been staring at me for 25 minutes. And they never do. They never say anything, so I don't know.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you can understand why they're going to be staring at you. They've probably never seen this before. Like, this is literally something you hear about on Facebook or on the news. Whenever people see it in real life, they'll be shocked.
My first impressions were that it was a grandfather with his daughter and grandchild.
I agree with her. Whenever I first seen them, I would automatically assume that. It's not necessarily not normal, but it's not like very common for this to happen. So like, I just see them as like grandfather, daughter and son.
Not all, but a lot of my beer drinking buddies who are around my age are just passing away. A couple or three this year. I've never been afraid of going to that place.
No.
Exactly, like I said, people of his age are starting to die, so like he could literally die one day. And you know, it's sad enough that he dies and she loses her husband, but it's like that child's literally gonna lose his father. That man will probably not be in the child's life whenever they're like 15 or 16. By that age, he will be nearly 90. Anyways guys, hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, press the big red subscribe button, and yes, I'll see you all in the next video.